I don't know that they could have picked a worse character to give the word existential or sadist to. Simply because Big Baby might be top 5 dumbest dudes who ever played in the NBA. Right? Am I wrong with that?
You sound racist.
He's on the bounce.
I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm genuinely saying
he didn't say top 3 dumbest. He said top 5. To be fair,
there have been 5,000 players in NBA history. Like, he's got to be one of the 5 dumbest players. Just from I'm sure he knows what he's doing for the most part on a basketball court. I'm not talking about basketball IQ. I'm talking about regular IQ.
Name the rest of them. Name the other 4.
Well, no, was Charles Shackelford, rest in peace, stupid or just didn't know the word ambidextrous/amphibious?
We might need to do a different top 5. Who's the dumbest player?
Look, I'm struggling to come up with. I'm trying to think. Oh man.
Like people are gonna say J.R. Smith. I don't think it's J.R. Smith.
No, J.R.'s not. No. J.R.'s just
J.R.'s actually
impulsive.
not dumb at all.
Yeah, he's just impulsive, which I appreciate. How
about just active? Who's the active dumbest player?
Oh
in the
man,
NBA?
we gotta talk to these people eventually.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do active right now.
He's just curious.
Oh man, I feel bad saying this. Derek Williams wasn't all that smart.
This is Arizona Derek Williams?
Yeah. He was a guy that, like, legitimately...
Can you give us a not too personal example of him not being the smartest person?
Give us a personal example.
I think he's the reason Rick Adelman isn't coaching anymore.
Wow.
Like, he used to drive Adelman insane. Absolutely insane, because he couldn't make decisions quick enough.
There's a negative correlation to height and IQ, just because of natural selection of just like if you're really tall, you're gonna make it on the fact that you're very tall and have long legs.
Tom.
Sure.
I appreciate that, Tom. That's really nice.
There are exceptions to the rules. I gotta tell you though, I haven't watched Clipped until this episode. So this is I just watched episode 3 for this show.
You went in fresh. You didn't even do the first 2?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you need to see the first 2, especially when you know everything that happened.
No. See, this is where I got
great
mad at you
writing.
guys.
I got to tell you,
I got mad at you guys last night because you started sharing the imagery of the show, and it's not the story of the show that you spoil; it's the imagery and how horribly they botched this. Like, it's just why is Jim Rash, the dean from Community, playing Adam Silver and standing at half court before Game 4 of the
Oh, so we haven't met
series.
Adam Silver yet?
I missed, but they didn't introduce him. See, that's the funny.
Why does NBA legal work like the fucking CIA?
My favorite things is always like when they feel like, I don't even need to introduce this guy. You know who that is. Right? That was
with
Steph
this
Curry.
show, you can't do that.
Especially with their casting decisions. Like, that's what I love.
That's exactly what I mean. With the casting on this show, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, that's obviously Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
Like, that's obviously Glenn Big Baby David. That's
There is no
obviously
obvious
Adam Silver.
There's no obvious Jamal Crawford. There's no
That's Kevin
obvious
Arnovitz.
Jamal Crawford.
That's Kevin Arnovitz right there.
No, come on. Don't do that to Kevin.
No.
Don't do that. No.
This dude is like, look at his neck has muscles. Okay.
Just like Adam Silver.
Right. This guy looks like he could kick somebody's ass. Adam Silver looks like many things. UFC fighter on the side is not one of them.
Has Adam Silver ever mean mugged somebody before?
Dude, that is an upset.
He did
Adam.
when he handed the All-Star MVP trophy this year.
Oh, yeah.
He was so
No, he was just
unhappy.
disappointed dad. He was disappointed divorced dad.
Disappointed,
Yeah. I'm talking about
I
mean
guess
mugging.
it was
like,
a good game. I guess.
and like Matt Barnes is talking shit to him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Just can we? I mean, you would know that. I mean, I have no idea how to answer this, so I'm relying on your expertise and your insider knowledge.
Sure.
Did DeAndre Jordan travel with his lizard? He brought him on the road.
I think. Tom might be better equipped. I don't know. I didn't know he had a lizard. To be honest with
I think because it was in the show. Yes. The answer is yes.
Canon? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's literally
how he
the
rolled
personality
over.
they gave him.
Yeah, like he had the big meeting and he was like, nope, we are not playing. Absolutely not. I'm walking out. And then like 3 seconds later, he's like, yep, okay, I'm back in.
Yeah.
But that was out there though, right? That DeAndre Jordan was the most pissed. Am I making that up? I seem to remember that. Like that came out of the reporting afterwards.
Right, but it was funny to me how like Doc Rivers was the most coach of all time. He was like, listen, I know you all want to like stand up for justice. And be with your people and stand up. But wouldn't the best thing be if we went out there and won?
And they lost.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And I was like, wait a minute. So you're arguing that the best possible way to take a stand is to go out there and win the game. Show them by winning today's game. Ready? On 3 clips.
I do buy that Chris Paul whined, I want my ring.
Yep.
I do buy that.
God.
That is 100% accurate.
So sorry, go ahead, Amin.
There's a couple of things about this show that I delight in. Number one is anytime they do anything about Chris Paul, I can nitpick on all this other shit. That happened. I don't care. Like the Chris Paul being a whiny little bitch on the show, I'm like, yeah, I can see it happening. But the other thing that Zach, I know you picked up on, they got laser accurate with was the Doc Rivers press conference laugh.
Oh my God. I rewound that 4 times. I was like, this is perfect. This is attention to detail. This is winning time level attention to detail.
So this is what I discovered after the show. I haven't watched the credits, the first 2 episodes. Yesterday, I was like, let me watch the credits.
Yeah.
And the credits go by fast. So you gotta hit that pause button. I got that pause button right, and it says consultant Doc Rivers. I was like, and there you have it. Hey, Doc,
I was going to ask you guys, like, is it always very pro Doc? And then, because I saw the credits and I was like, he's the hero of this show. And then I was like, I saw the credits and it was like consultant Doc Rivers. It wasn't consultant anybody else.
Baby Davis?
Big Baby Davis.
He was the hero of the story in real time, coming out of it. In the media, it was like, oh, Doc handled this with such dignity and poise and such a proud black man. And, you know, that's what it was at the time.
This is how it went down when they were filming. Like, Doc, how did this scene happen? Well, let me tell you. There I was. There were like 7 armed goons.
Amin's got props.
I had to defeat all of them hand to hand.
So I discovered yesterday, I saw this clip. I think it was Rich Eisen show. It was either Rich Eisen or Dan Patrick. But Lawrence Fishburne. Dan Patrick, yeah. Lawrence Fishburne didn't know who Doc Rivers was before getting this role. He's not, as he says, I'm not a sports guy.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect to
him. So he's playing this kind of blind. You know, obviously he's done some research and everything, but he, like,
not
this
enough.
is.
Not enough to get on the treadmaster.
Did you see Austin Rivers?
Did he also cast the show?
Austin Rivers, my colleague.
Austin Rivers, like, they did my dad
brother.
dirty.
I think it's an unfair critique to be like, his physique doesn't match Doc's. Come on, bro.
No,
like,
come on.
Hold on.
Come on.
Yeah.
My man did zero work to like get.
He was supposed to work out and try to look better, you guys think?
I mean, come on, man.
Bruh, guys, it's a Hulu show. He's not trying to win an Oscar.
This is an FX
here.
show. Thank you very much. It's just on Hulu.
I I really enjoyed the cameo from the dude from Wedding Crashers, the brother, the PR guy.
Oh,
wait, he's the dude that made the painting of Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, no, I just made that up. I just thought it was Bram.
I was not watching.
I want more Bram in my life.
Enough.
I needed episode 3. I've realized with this show, I just need as much Sterling as possible.
Yeah,
we didn't get nearly enough Sterling, and I fear that it's going to be a lot of just Doc the rest of the way, especially with him being the consultant. I am happy that, because I was worried after the first 2 episodes that this was becoming a Shelley Sterling hero story because
it's making her just look like the devoted wife.
Sure.
Even though, like on some Hillary Clinton, even though my man fucked up in front of the world, I will still stand by him, even if I hold him accountable behind. There's no part of it like Shelley was a raging racist as well. Well, they still have not delivered that part.
Right. But I thought that they were going far away from that. And instead, this one, I mean, this is the worst she's looked as a character in the series so far through 3 episodes.
She looks like weak. I'm sure women are going to look at that and look at her like, that's weak. Your man is cheating on you and just doing all this stuff, and you're still standing by him.
I mean,
like, I still don't think it makes her look bad.
I don't know. That dinner scene was hilarious.
I think it's naive to think that somebody would just completely walk away from their life after 50 years or whatever it had been at the time. I know on the internet, it's like, your husband is a bigot. You should walk out the door away from all his billions tomorrow. It's like, that's not how life works, dude.
What do you think is worse for white people? We give white people, all white people here.
I got this.
Truth serum, right?
I got this.
What's worse? Your husband's a bigot or your husband's cheating on you?
Ooh.
Cheating.
Infidelity's tough, man.
I think bigot. Yeah.
If you're in the public eye like that, it's got to be bigotry.
Because it's already out. It's already out that he's cheating on you.
Yes, if you're in the public eye, I think infidelity is expected from rich, powerful, celebrity people.
Matter? Like, this woman is ridiculous.
Yes. This was a great episode for V.
Yes. Oh my God.
They nailed it. That's one
absolutely. Yeah, the first 2 episodes were not very critical of her. This one was definitely like this. You can see the Barbara Walters interview coming.
I'm the next U.S. president.
Which she said.
The line of "now she's an entrepreneur" just killed me.
Yeah,
I mean, and now she's an entrepreneur. I was like, amazing line. This is a uniform of a woman on the side of justice.
Outside of Sterling, Vistiviano, and Shelley Sterling, I think the woman who plays Deja is doing the best job. Yeah. But she's playing a fictitious. She's not, and also it's not a real person. It's not a real person.
Right.
They needed her to kind of like show these. Yes.
She's the LeVar Burton on the Vistiviano side. LeVar Burton did a great job too.
Oh, Tom doesn't know that LeVar Burton is all over the first 2 episodes in a steam room with us.
Spoiler alert for Tom.
Yeah, as LeVar Burton.
He's like Doc's neighbor / consigliere.
He's like Doc's like.
He wasn't in this episode.
Ghost of Presence Past.
He's Doc Silvio. He's Doc Silvio from The Sopranos. Yeah. But it's not like they're friends for years. They just met because they just lived in the same building room.
I still feel for Carmela and Silvio. So LeVar Burton was on this show and just they
first 2 eps.
He'll be
didn't
back.
include him in episode 3.
As far as we know, he lives in a sauna.
No. Here's the deal, guys. Doc has been in Oakland playing the Oakland Warriors this entire episode. So that's why we didn't see LeVar Burton. Sooner or later, he's got to come back to LA. When he goes back to the steam room, as he does, then he might run into our good friend.
Do we know how many episodes there are?
I think it's 7.
Not enough. Whatever.
I think it's 6.
A 6.
I need like a 40 episode run.
Oh my God.
Can we get an Ed O'Neill spinoff somehow? Just like get him. I want more of him. He's been fantastic.
I need them to turn Sterling into Mr. Magoo for a spinoff.
He's not that big of a stretch.
Who's better, John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss or Ed O'Neill as?
Oh, Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill.
Yeah,
and maybe some of that. Maybe I'm biased because I'm familiar with the behaviors of Donald Sterling much more than I am Dr. Buss. Dr. Buss is just kind of like you see a clip here, like everybody in the NBA has a Donald Sterling impersonation, and this dude is knocking it out the park.
Yeah, the one problem with John C. Reilly is like his voice is just his voice, right? Like he doesn't sound like Dr. Buss sounded, but Ed O'Neill is nailing that voice.
I mean, it's just a better character. He's just a better character. He just is.
It might be an all-time character to get to play.
In the limo when they're on the way to the game, and Doc's telling him absolutely not. And he's just I love the non sequitur. This dude is having his own conversation over here that has nothing to do with reality.
And it's constant. Like that's a good
sign that
like
fell and killed
in the show.
Yeah.
When it's Andy's phone buzzes, he says, "What's that? 2 mosquitoes fucking?"
Yeah.
He's just killing Andy at every single turn, just cutting him down for no reason whatsoever is just
And him going after the friend of Shelley at that dinner. Like, was that before or after he left? Your husband left you for the girl with the big rump.
With the Andy Rosen situation. What was this guy's reputation?
So first of all, I'd like to take you guys again behind the scenes to the production of this magnificent television show. Hey, Doc, what was Andy Rosen like? He was a bitch. Just make him more and more, like, as much of a bitch as you can. Whatever you have in your mind as a bitch.
No towel during that conversation?
No. Well, he wasn't. They didn't ask Doc how to save the day.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's only when he's got to save the day.
Andy just wanted to eat his breakfast in peace, and here comes Doc. Like, business, and he pulls the ball away from him, and Andy's just like,
"What was the point of him trying to get the hot sauce off, but he couldn't? He struggled with the hot sauce bottle, and then he slammed it down.
Frustrated. It's kind of like what was the point of Forrest Whitaker eating a bagel and taking 3?
Well, there's a lot of significance to that. So
that's actually pretty deep in the more the chess pieces.
What do you guys think of the argument of what to do where they're going around the room? We actually hear a lot from Jamal Crawford and Matt Barnes and, of course, Big Baby's pontificating.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out who's who in that room.
Well, I mean, you couldn't tell that was Jamal Crawford? That's pretty...
I had no idea. I was like, is that Willie
you call
Green?
yourself a basketball insider,
the Jamal Crawford guy is just killing me. He's the one for me. That's the one that is just killing me.
Yo, they're going to be real fucking confused when we put the logo back on and play.
That was funny.
Unbelievable line. I was like, whoever wrote that line is so fantastic because like only a basketball person would know. Like,
thanks, Tom. That's a wonderful, very astute observation.
Doc.
You're so charming.
Now that I know that Ty Lue is Ty Lue, he looks 12. That's like my first mustache.
Mace, can you drop in a picture of Ty Lue from the earlier episodes?
Yeah, that's
I need Tom to see this. I need Tom to see this. Well, you did. You just didn't know that.
I can't wait.
Tom, did you see Alvin Gentry?
I didn't see Alvin. Is he?
First of all, he's as black as Seal. That's the crazy shit.
Oh my god! I didn't know that was Al. Okay. Oh my. Oh, this show is so good. Like, I don't know who anyone is. So when you're saying Jamal Crawford, I'm like, oh, that's who that's supposed to be. Oh, that's Big Baby Davis. Okay. Oh my god, this is amazing. I figured out who Blake Griffin was pretty early on.
That's I
Dude,
mean, that was so obvious.
Down to destroy this racist system we work for right after it buys me some crepes. Blake Griffin.
And it's, oddly enough, I thought Blake would be the easiest character to get because he's more, I guess, for a TV show, a traditional, like, funny, sarcastic, like, think of like my man from How I Met Your Mother, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Like that kind of sarcastic asshole, whatever. There you go.
That's
Alvin
Gentry in the white, and
Tyloo's on the right.
Tyloo
the
intern.
The quarter length vest. I mean, zip.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, to your point about Blake, the problem is they hired a horrendous actor.
Well,
yeah, that guy's terrible.
Is it just that the casting for Winning Time was so much better than the average show, or is it this one just is so much worse?
The casting was that much better, bro. I just think this shit is so recent. Yeah, I don't. I think John C. Reilly obviously is incredible, but like
Magic
this shit is crazy.
And Kareem?
Magic and Kareem, I thought those guys killed it.
The Magic guy is good. He's good.
We're talking about just likeness.
Like, here's the thing. Like I said, you can pick one or two. Either
y'all think the Genie Bus character is like a great genie?
No, but like I don't know what Genie was like as a teenager either. So,
and that's what I'm getting at. We don't know what these people were like in 1979. Like it's like we know these dudes so freaking well. It's hard to suspend our disbelief, man. Like we really know these cats.
This is what I would say was either you get me someone who looks like them, or get me someone who can act.
They did neither one.
They did neither. It's not like the guy playing Blake. It's not that he doesn't look like Blake, and it's not that he doesn't act like Blake. It's that he can't act. Whatever he's acting is still awful.
By the way, I've slightly come around on the DeAndre guy this
don't
episode.
Do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. No.
I've slightly turned the dial on the DeAndre. Chris
Paul one, I'm in on the Chris Paul character.
I believe it all.
Like, yes, I believe it all in this episode.
When he did this to his wife.
Oh my God.
Yo, bro. Come on.
The OCD?
Come on, bro.
What did Chris do to deserve that rendering?
Chris kisses his wife 3 times. He does everything in 3s.
Question: did the first 2 episodes, did they leave out the basketball? Because that was a great choice. Because
the basketball was firmly in the first 2 episodes, and it's worse than you could even imagine. It's bad.
Because I was like, great, these guys absolutely should not be playing basketball.
I've come around on the DeAndre guy because he's being asked basically to be like a fucking Medgar Evers civil rights leader. Like that's what they're asking him to do. Like this is insane. Like they're asking him to deliver on 400 years of black strife in America. Like who is this guy? Like the idea that it's his job to portray.
The guy that travels with the lizard?
It's a hard job. He's doing his best.
If you're wondering, the first 2 episodes, do we get the story of how he ended up with the lizard? We sure do. Yeah.
I'm glad we got that exposition.
That's literally his character profile is likes this lizard, is going to be the voice for black people on the Clippers. Those are like the 2
Black
characters.
America is DeAndre Jordan on this show.
And the second part of that, the voice of Black America has only come into the 3rd episode. Before that, it was just this guy likes lizards, and he's the exact same height as Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
it's Jordan.
The whole height thing is just throwing me off too. It is bad.
Alvin towering over Doc Rivers also was a choice.
That's great. I like that.
Like towering over him. Look like Roy Rogers. Remember the assistant coach Roy Rogers?
Yeah,
he was. That's what that dude looks like. He played great Roy Rogers.
I love Doc on the bus trying to get his meditation in, and he gets interrupted by a call from Barack Obama, but not before he says 20 minutes twice a day. That's what David Lynch does.
Yeah. Can you give me just 5, please?
So that's what I was going to say about Doc's whole, you guys should play, and that's what proves him wrong. Like, as implausible as that sounds, that's what Barack Obama told them niggas to do at the bubble. That was his advice. He got them. LeBron got Barack on the phone, and he was like, "Y'all niggas should play."
Is that a direct quote?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's what the fucking leader of the free world said those cats should do in the bubble. So, well, the former leader.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's just a guy with a hot
So we
parlay.
can say Doc is like an idiot for coming up with that idea of like, how you prove him wrong is you play. That's what Barry said.
No, it wasn't that you play; it's that you win, and it's just
show them as champions,
champions, which is the most coach thing ever. Is you know how we're going to shut them all up, and we're going to end racism forever. We're going to get on that pedestal, and we're going to win gold right now.
We're going to lose to the Thunder in the second round.
Yeah,
Maze, do you have that Big Baby quote?
Yeah, I'll break it down for you because I think, you guys know a lot of NBA coaches. You've talked to him. So when he says, I love you, Doc, but for real, though, you an NBA coach, you got agents, fixers, moles, and rats. Their whole existential purpose is to know what's going on.
What?
Big Baby Davis using the word existential is tough. That's
he
tough.
Might be, now that I think about it, he might be the dumbest person who's ever played basketball.
So
at any level.
So I want to say maybe 3 weeks into moving into LA, I saw Big Baby Davis at a day party, and he was doing the worm. I swear to God. He was on the actual dance floor.
It was a 3.9.
Doing the fucking worm.
I remember watching him at LSU.
Ground. Yes, that happened.
I remember watching him at LSU, highlights, clips and message boards, and thinking he was going to be the next Shaq. He was so big and destroying dudes. Yeah, because he was unbelievable at football. And I was like, if that dude is going to get to the league, I didn't realize he was that dumb.
Remember when he pushed that kid? It was sitting courts.
No, I don't remember that.
You remember that? I think he was either
Orlando.
He was either on the Celtics against Orlando or on Orlando against the Celtics. No, I think he was on the Celtics because I think he pushed a Magic fan that was sitting courtside.
Pushed his fan. Here we go. Is it after the game winner?
Yeah, I think he hit
game winner at buzzer and pushed his kid.
Baseline shot.
It's
a playoff game. Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big shot.
Yeah, it was a massive, massive moment.
It's probably the highlight of his career.
Before using existential, yeah.
Well, we don't know that he didn't use existential all the time.
That's true.
In locker rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
What about Adam Silver, a disembodied voice on the phone, calling Donald Sterling a Krakatoa of shameful bullshit? You like that one?
I do like that. Yeah, that I believe.
Adam Silver, on the phone was just, I don't know.
Do we think we're gonna get the Anderson Cooper interview?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
you got to.
That's his magnum opus right there.
He has AIDS.
That's sealed.
You trust the makers of the show, the consultant of this show, to get every detail in there?
By the way, Rembert Brown is another one of the consulting producers on this. So
he's the writer. He's a staff writer.
Is he?
Yeah.
Does he write existential?
No, I think
if he gave Big Baby all these words to use, I've now seen this as performance art.
Yeah.
Because I could see that happening. I could absolutely, yes.
You know, it'd be funny if I just made Big Baby into and every episode, let's add another thing. Your monocle next time. Pipe. Smoking
so
jacket.
I don't know if you guys watched
items.
The Sympathizer, but at one point they get the Vietnamese dude to consult for a Vietnam flick, and he tells the Vietnamese extras to say shit like, we're going to kill you American pigs and hang you by your head, instead of cowering in fear like they're supposed to. He instructs them to say crazy shit to the Americans, talk shit, be bold and shit.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what they're supposed to be saying. And only Vietnamese people will understand what is being said, because obviously it's a Hollywood movie and it's a bunch of white guys and they're just yeah, whatever. Anything they say will work. And that's what Rembert did for Big Baby right there. Nice. Little Easter egg for the heads.
Mm-hmm.
For us. That was for us.
Existential. It's crazy.
Jerry West died.
Rest in peace. Rest in power.
Good transition there.
Segway King.
Yeah. I got bummed out, man.
Yeah, same.
It's, Walton, Chet Walker, now Jerry West. It's like God is going through the phone book, just going through the W's. But that's 3 Hall of Famers in the span of 2 weeks.
My man Kyle Mann says 20 days. 20 days. 3 guys.
3 Hall of Famers. And, this is it's a speech I'm doing more and more, but I can't remember. I think it was when Moses Malone passed away. I said this. I said, basketball's not like every other sport. Football's been around forever. Baseball's been around forever. Like you can have, Honus Wagner. Yeah, some dude who played 1 million years ago, and obviously he's not alive. Basketball is a very young sport. The NBA basketball is a very young sport. So when we talk about the greatest players who ever lived, many of them have been walking amongst us like living history. But because it's a young sport, it gets older. And as it gets older, these guys get older and they pass away. And so now we're in this era where we're going to see a lot of these people pass away. And we're not prepped for it the way the other sports are prepped for it, I don't think. And so Jerry West going, like, Bill Walton was kind of like the personality, right? Jerry West is the image, literally, logo. And then also just, it was exactly, you said he's a Hall of Famer three times over.
He's getting in for the third time this year.
What's the third one for?
Contributor. So he made it as a player. He made it as member of the 1960 U.S. team, and now as a contributor, essentially for being an executive, right?
Yeah, being one of the greatest executives that ever lived.
Ever.
And a lot of people are running with he traded for Kobe and signed Shaq in the same week. Like, honestly, the harder part of that was trading for Kobe, because the Hornets were trying to play hard to get. Shaq was already done. All he had to do is offer the money, because Orlando refused to offer it up front. If Orlando had offered the money up front, Shaq probably would have stayed. But the fact that they told him, we'll go out and get the offer and we'll match it, that's why he left. So I never look at signing Shaq as a big coup. Just kind of figured it was going to happen. But the thing that I thought people would be talking about a lot would be, he's the one that told the Warriors, don't trade Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's, you think about changing the course of history. That would have been monumental if Klay Thompson gets traded, if this thing gets broken up, because obviously the very specific role he played for Golden State and all that. So, the guy was just one of the best to ever do it. And I think people who want to see a Jumpman logo be the league logo, which of course could never happen. It's just one of those things where, like, guys, just give it a rest for one day. Just one day. Let's remember this dude for the greatness that he was.
There's no way that if he played today, that they would ever make him the logo. Just the way that the conversation about championships has gone totally derailed on the value of a player. He was, they
didn't make him the logo. It was anonymous. It was like people.
Some dude saw this picture, right? Like, and was like, "Oh, this looks like
it's Jerry West." But like, it wasn't like, "Guys, we got a new logo. Let us produce our model, Jerry West." And he's like, "Hi guys, look familiar?" Like that, and that's another thing. It's like the league did not select him to be the face of their league. They just thought the silhouette was kind of cool.
It is. It's so freaking cool, man.
It's a shame, because the way that the Lakers, the Clippers, I don't know if they broke the news this morning, but they put out the tweet at 10:27 this morning, and it took like the Lakers an hour and a half to put something together, and it was like a photo of him and just said like honoring the legend, and it's so synonymous with the Lakers, Jerry West, and just that they had this fallout between him and the organization.
I mean, the fact that he was working for the Clippers was basically a big middle finger, like, screw you guys. I'll go down the hall and help these guys actually, fulfill their promise, hopefully. That was crazy. I remember it was like 2019. And it was like one of the first times I really was going to Staples on some media shit, like, getting a credential, doing that whole song and dance. and Jerry West walked into the Lakers media room and was getting ice cream. And I was legitimately starstruck. Like, oh shit. Like, whoa. That shit felt crazy to me that Jerry West was in the media room with the rest of us, just like, you know, eating the free food at Staples.
It's one of the things that like the Knicks have figured it out. The Lakers have always been good at this, but like to just have your legends around, right? Like just as almost regular people, I do think that matters in like the lore of an organization and the mystique of an organization. And even though he went to the Clippers side of it, he went to Golden State, like he went to Memphis, he went to Golden State, he went to the Clippers side of it, but he did seem to always still be around in some capacity. And part of that is like sharing the building, obviously, but it was, I don't know, like he's someone that kind of seemed to be a Laker for life, but at the same time kind of transcend, you know, being tied to a franchise. I don't know. It's like this weird dichotomy for him of like, he was, and maybe that's just part again of like him being the logo, but it was just like, he was just this NBA presence that kind of fit everywhere.
And then, of course, in Winning Time, they covered some of this, but like his reputation for being this like tortured soul, like it's out there. Like, it's not even like a secret. You know, I don't know that he was like banging like bartenders and shit and like bar bathrooms.
I think that was my favorite. My favorite thing was like when people were like criticizing the way he was portrayed in like the first episode or two. And I'm like, yeah, that's not how he fucked a waitress. Like, it's you know. Like,
are we criticizing the technique or that it happened at all? But yeah, man, like he's been so open about all the losing in the finals and all the losing to the Celtics and like how it absolutely killed him. Just a dope character,
right?
Man.
Like his dad, like he was a guy that way before he was a Laker, he battled depression his entire life. And he was, I don't know, is he like the original mental health? I don't know if it's called an advocate,
probably,
but you know.
Example, maybe?
Yeah. Him and Walton, both of them were guys that struggled with depression. And yeah, man.
I also love that.
6 years is a hell of a run, by the way, man.
Oh my God, yeah. And I love that quote. It's been passed around. I think I retweeted earlier. I posted it earlier too. Where he was like, everyone's talking about like, oh, this guy's a dog. This guy's a dog. He's like, I was a wolf. It's such a great quote, man. It's such a great fucking quote because it's true. I remember when I was a kid, so I must have been like 10, right? I think Jordan had won a couple of titles, and like my best friend was like this massive Jordan fan, right? Like just loved Jordan more than anything. And I was a pretty big Jordan fan too, but like my friend just like blew it away. And I remember my dad one day was like, you know, Jerry West is probably better than Michael Jordan. And we fucking lost it. Like we absolutely lost. Like, get the hell out of it. And my dad was like trying to educate us on Jerry West and we just weren't having it. And now I look back, like obviously he wasn't better than Michael Jordan, but like
now Zach,
a 10-year-old dismissing this.
What age were you, was it relative to when you went to a Suns game and you talked shit to Brian Colangelo?
This was 7 years prior.
Oh, wow.
7 years prior to when Brian Colangelo almost kicked me out of a Suns Kings game.
I don't think I know this story. That's amazing.
Oh, man.
This is a banger.
So my friend who's my friend's name is actually, like, this is how Italian he is. He's actually named Luigi. Like, this is his real name. And so we're going to Phoenix, or we're going to like the Phoenix area for spring training. In like March of like 99, I think this was 98 or 99. I can't remember the exact year, but it would be easy to look up because we go and family friends of my friend get us tickets for the Suns game. Like, oh, we know someone, like, here, we'll get you tickets, whatever. And they're pretty good seats, like, you know, I don't know, 15 rows up the lower bowl, like, and for some reason, I this is just, I guess, speaks to my personality. I have no idea why. I just start heckling Penny. And I love Penny. I yell, Penny, you suck, or something like that. I have no idea why. I don't care who wins the game. My friend is a massive Kings fan. So like he's rooting for the Kings. So maybe I just glommed onto that.
How could you heckle Penny?
Dude, I don't know. I was just
what a weird 16, target.
17-year-old. And so this dude turns around and he's like, how'd you get these tickets? And my friend's like,
I thought he said be respectful.
No. It came later. And my friend's like, oh, blah, 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 like names the people. And he's like, okay, well, these are actually my tickets. So I don't care who you root for, but you're not going to yell, Penny, you suck. Like while you're sitting in these seats. Okay. And then my friend he leans over to me a few minutes later. He goes, I think that's Brian Colangelo, like the son of the owner. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, my bad. And so now I'm a little afraid, right? Right before halftime, Jason Kidd breaks his foot.
Oh my
Jason
God.
Kidd breaks his foot, right? And he gets carried off the floor, and Brian starts running down towards the tunnel, and I yell something to the effect of yeah, go check on your meal ticket or something like that.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Dead ass, he's probably 50 feet away, right? Maybe more.
Christ.
Stops, turns around, and stares the coldest fucking daggers into me. He knew I said it. And the rest of the game, we're like, oh, we're about to get kicked out.
Oh, my goodness.
Checked on, turns out Jason Kidd broke his foot. But yeah, that was the time Brian Colangelo almost kicked me out of a Suns game.
I'm surprised he was able to turn around with his collar so high.
Yeah, that's the one thing is I don't remember the size of the collar at the time, but I also
find a
wasn't
different
for stuff
slant,
like that.
guys. He's got regular collars.
Hey, Ethan.
Hey.
Busy morning for you, huh?
Oh, no. I mean, yesterday was busy. Last night was busy. Actually, that sounds weird. That sounds wrong to say that. Last night was busy.
Means getting aggregated.
Busy.
Means getting aggregated.
Yeah.
Thanks to
It was
you.
a busy night.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I didn't want. I said on the pod, I don't want to get aggregated. I just want
and then said the things you said?
Yeah,
you
that's
watched the fucking news?
Well, I thought about it because I was like, I don't want.
What does he want to share? Yeah.
I want. How do I do help people connect the dots without? And he's like, you just got to walk them up to that line and let them. And so we kind of game planned a couple of things. I was like, okay, cool. And so I get off the phone with him, and then after we were done, I texted him. I said, "Yeah, I just fucking drove right off that cliff. There was no line or anything."
Yeah,
you guys send me some of the aggregation, please? I got you.
Awful announcing.
Yeah, awful announcing.
Let's go.
Oh, you got the AA. Let's go.
Yeah, the problem when you express the fear about getting aggregated, that's like in nature when you see the bear and you start running and it triggers the predator's instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I listened to that, listened to y'all while I was working out. There were many moments that made me so fucking happy. I was just like,
headline.
This is great.
Amin Elhassan alleges Adrian Wojnarowski refuted Shams Charania because he, quote, hates to get scooped. And
that's not what I alleged, by the way. That's a funny thing. I didn't say that. I said he hates to get scooped. I didn't say it happened because he hates to get scooped.
That was the line that they pulled.
That's the headline. I mean, that's how you get the clickbait, right?
Well, it's a funny headline. It's just a hilarious headline. I felt like we said things that were more attention grabbing than that.
Yeah. Ethan said the dude goes and introduces people, coaches and stuff to owners and says you should hire this guy. I thought one was like, oh shit, that's gonna be a
everybody knows that behind the scenes. I just put that in my article. I'm mad at myself though because I underplayed the stuff Amin said in my article. This is the thing. You always write something, you go, oh, I should have said that or I should have done that. I felt like I underplayed the sense of how this might have happened, which is, and I don't know, we need to do an exposition.
You did on the pod.
Yeah. But the idea that JJ's story, if JJ was joining the Lakers, that should have theoretically been a Woj story, or that's how he sees it. JJ coming through CAA. At the company?
Oh, because
he's at
ESPN. Okay.
No, but the whole thing, it's like CAA, ESPN. This should be just bada bing, bada boom. But JJ, and we're just getting into it right now. And
let's do it.
The people listening, they have a high level of NBA knowledge, so I don't have to do all of the exposition on it. JJ is in the crazy madcap universe of ESPN, though, where if he, let's say, has the Laker job in his grasp and accepts it, then Dave Roberts, who runs NBA ESPN TV, is going to completely defenestrate him because he is furious at what Doc Rivers did bailing
Watch
before.
for those big words.
Oh, sorry.
Are you not watching Clip? Oh, never mind. That's a different conversation. Keep going. You're going.
I was distracted by Zach saying dead ass earlier and just wondering, did he become a New Yorker?
Well, I'm getting ready for the live show, July 20th, Racket, NYC.
That's right. Get your tickets at CountTheDinks.com.
Be there. Anyway, where was I?
JJ and dealing with ESPN management politics.
So this is the crazy thing. It's okay. So let's say this job, a lot of people thought it was like signed, sealed, and delivered, the Laker head coaching job for JJ. And if he takes it, it creates a big noise. It's uncomfortable. He's the announcer on broadcast. Everybody knows Dave Roberts, who's intimidating, is going to be furious. But the other side of it is if he sits on it, and then it gets reported by, Shams Charania, then Woj, who's at the news breaking division of ESPN, is furious because that should be mine. So there's this weird Sophie's Choice, hypothetically, that JJ Redick was in because the NBA and ESPN are just such insane worlds. I mean,
hold on, one question. Before you go on, just because I'm wondering about this. You know how sometimes like college football coaches, like a coordinator gets hired, and then he's allowed to coordinate for Alabama in the championship, and then go on to go be the coach for some Pac-12 school. Could JJ have accepted the job and finished out the finals?
I mean, I think so, but it's one of these things where, talking to people behind the scenes of it, Dave Roberts, I'm sure, was signaling, should we say, that you do not do this, because the prologue to all of it is that Doc Rivers, the studio is shaken up. They made this Doc Rivers, Doris Burke, and Mike Breen triumvirate, and that was their studio of the future. And I know a lot of you listening probably, you just want the games maybe, and you don't really think about this stuff. But at ESPN, reputations are staked on this kind of thing. And if you're Dave Roberts, I mean, this is egg on your face that you brought in Doc and he wined and dined you. He's the most charismatic guy in the world. And then he left you high and dry to coach the Bucks. And you let him wriggle out of it.
I don't want to take it.
Terrible job.
Even there's another part of this also, is that the idea that the league isn't happy. The league never likes when a non-final story usurps finals week.
Yeah. And there's a human aspect of this too, where Doc and JJ have a relationship that I'll just say is fraught. That's how I said it in my article. You can come to your own conclusion.
JJ's dissed him in public, though. This isn't JJ dissed him in public. Said that Doc never takes. He never takes responsibilities for his actions, blah, blah, blah. Then Doc said, last time I checked, the best years of JJ's career was under my tutelage. I mean, credit for his career.
So then this is the interesting human element. And this is honestly, this article is one of my favorite articles I've written. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm just talking about the subject material. I'm talking about the subject material and how these characters and these like miniature paradoxes and tragedies. So JJ comes in, and from what I hear, he tries to be the anti-Doc, because Doc, while they were furious that he left them high and dry at ESPN, he wasn't exactly a model announcer in their view. He talked over Doris Burke all the time. They didn't love it. And so JJ, who has this thing with Doc, is going, well, I'm not gonna be like Doc. He's so deferential to Doris. And I feel like maybe he would be doing that anyway. But I wonder if there's this aspect of, I'm not going to be like Doc, and I'm going to be the good soldier. I'm not going to leave you guys high and dry like Doc did. You're so mad at Doc Rivers, but I'm going to be the good soldier. And I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to focus on my job. I'm not going to allow this distraction. But maybe we learn a little lesson about why Doc Rivers has gotten paid a whole lot of money to coach these basketball teams. There's a reason why Doc Rivers acts like Doc Rivers. And there's a reason why perhaps when an opportunity is in your midst in this league, you seize it rather than waiting around and seeing what might happen. And I think that's part of this story.
Do we think JJ can't just take the job anyway? Like, I get the optics or whatever. Like,
I think the energy might have shifted.
Yeah, I hadn't considered, Ethan, you wrote about it. I hadn't considered the whole Dave Roberts factor of like, if JJ takes this job with the Lakers, guess who's going to be, fashioning all of the coverage around the Lakers if JJ's Lakers does not do well. I didn't really connect that dot. So trying to be on good terms with the bosses at ESPN has a lot of value to someone like that.
Yeah, and he probably thinks about it in a way Doc Rivers wouldn't. I mean, Doc Rivers already knows ESPN doesn't talk about the Bucks anyway. But if you're coaching the Lakers and it's your first high-profile gig,
they have Lakers legend Brook Lopez, though. Why wouldn't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's some reason to pay attention. I mean, if you've established like Doc and it's just about the money, but it's not really about the money. For JJ Redick, it's about the rest of his career, which is why I think he dodged a bullet. Actually, I mean that job's a death sentence. I mean, I don't want to look. I don't want to be crude, gentlemen. But I believe the last coach of the Lakers where it really worked out for their career was having sex with the current owner, or am I wrong? Is that the last time it worked? Not trying to be crude.
Well, JJ's married,
about
so we gotta check him off.
You don't think the Mike D'Antoni era worked out well for the Lakers?
Oh yeah.
Worked out for
Mike Brown worked out for his bottom line. That's for sure.
Right. God, that photo of Mike D'Antoni in the middle of a fake fight between Kobe and Dwight was that's an all-time photo.
Ethan or Amin or Zach or Waz, whoever knows the answer. What is sorry, I didn't mean to do this. Darvin Ham, why did he take the Bucks job so quickly? He shouldn't. I mean, I know, isn't there a contract offset? I guess like I would just be on a beach somewhere and just be done.
Doc's trying to get fired, so you can probably be the interim coach pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, out of sight, out of mind too in the NBA. I mean, if you step off the merry-go-round, you might not get another chance. You might just be out of it. It's a fast-moving world. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. This guy was winning games, and people made fun of him, and maybe didn't think he was the greatest coach, whatever. But he had a job, and then he's just gone. You just don't hear from him. You just don't hear from him again. But that seems to super duper happen with the Lakers, which is why it's not that great a job, which is why it makes no sense if you're Dan Hurley to leave running UConn to be the 6th highest paid NBA coach.
The only thing I felt like you were missing from your story, Ethan, was when the report was initially the Lakers are about to prepare a massive offer to blow Dan Hurley out the water. That was when I was like, oh, this is not actually going to happen. Because that's not who the Lakers are. That's not what they do. They don't just come out and just offer coaches mad money.
Yes.
They had Ty Lue locked in and then they lowballed his ass. And he was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this shit.
The second I knew it wasn't going to happen is when it was reported that he's been the target this entire time. And yet I went back and looked at literally every tweet, every bit of reporting, and didn't see his name once. I'm like, well, he's a good friend. Why wouldn't he be in this?
Even you went through and you like with a fine tooth comb picked out all the superlatives that Adrian was using. And it's like what's the one where he says like, this is the greatest coaching candidate like anywhere. It's not like, hey, this is the number one guy for this job. It's like, no, if anyone was going to hire any coach.
I mean, Doc had already been hired by the Bucks. You have to remember this.
He said, okay, the quote is, literally, he is the most sought after coach in all of basketball. They are preparing, I am told, a long-term massive contract.
That's why the Hornets went after him. That's why the Cavs went after him. It's why
the most sought after coach in all of basketball. So will you leave your job, your very high status job, to be the 6th highest paid coach in
the
NBA? I mean, look, money money is a representation of how sought after you are. And he wasn't that. It got very hyperbolic.
Ethan, can you quickly give us some Jerry West stuff? Because I know you talked to him for some stories. I know you had a little bit of a relationship with him.
Yeah, I don't think I had as much of a relationship as a lot of people talking about him, but my brief interactions with him were always amazing. He just had so much personality. And I put one of the conversations in my book, and I apologize to Harrison Barnes, but it's just funny. What's
the name of the book?
Credit to Harrison Barnes for becoming a great, a good player. Let's not go crazy. But
got a ring.
They were talking about.
Sorry, Harrison. We're going to apologize again. Yeah,
go ahead. Harrison Barnes in his car, like I got this long trip. Hey, you know what? Throw a podcast on. These guys are usually funny.
They're talking about the great Jerry West. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah. Well, okay, so they were talking back then. The Warriors were discussing whether or not to bring Harrison Barnes back. People didn't know if they were going to get Kevin Durant. This was the 2016 year. And he's coming off his rookie contract. And I'm asking Jerry West about it outside the practice. And Jerry just starts really breaking it down. And he starts talking about Harrison's deficiencies. He's going, feet are all fucked up. Moves are fucked up. Pump fake slow. And he's just going down the list of it. And I go, well, they're saying that he's going to get paid $20 million. What do you think of that? And Jerry, I remember he did it so slowly because we were outside that old Warriors practice facility next to the elevators. And he just turns his head to the elevator and he does this little Southern man, West Virginia man wave. And he goes, bye bye.
Don't let the door knob hit you with a good Lord split you, Harrison Barnes. Fuck out of here.
Ethan,
he was vindicated in the 2016 finals, by the way.
Yeah,
yes,
Lord have mercy.
Proved them wrong. They definitely did on a milk cart. Ethan, the other thing was, we talked about it a little bit before you came on, but the urban legend that Jerry West is the reason the Warriors didn't trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. How do you remember it?
I think Steve actually deserves a lot more credit for that. Jerry was definitely in that camp, but the way they did those decisions, it was like a council, because Joe Lacob was new to the scene and he liked this whole VC. We have our council and we hear from everybody and they pitch us on what we should do. And I actually think without Jerry, you could see that trade happening, but also without Steve, you could see that trade happening. And Steve was very opinionated on it, probably more opinionated than he would want to even talk about, because there's this aspect of when you talk to him about Kevin Love, why is he so opinionated not to trade Klay? It's easy to say that, hey, I just love Klay, but there's this other aspect of, Kevin Love MVP candidate. Why aren't you happy to go get that guy? So I think Jerry mattered, but I think it's getting depicted almost like Jerry was the sole reason. And that's part of the charisma. I mean, that's part of the thing about Jerry West, though, is that some of this stuff is true about the calls Jerry West made and who he was right on. But some of it's also true, I think, that we really enjoyed him so much as a character that we want him to be that guy as well. And it gets a little bit blurry. I'm not trying to take the credit away from him. He's the greatest of all time. But it did feel that way sometimes, where it's, maybe it was his call, but was it all his call, and yada, yada, yada. I'm just trying to be honest. My
favorite Jerry West story that is 99% pretty sure it's untrue based on everyone who is involved, but it's kind of what you're talking about, Ethan. It's like, I kind of want it to be true. He's in Memphis, and the late Michael Heisley is the owner, and it's free agency, and the owner's bothering him. Like, what are we doing? Because, deals get announced. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And finally, Jerry was like, you want me to do something? Signs Brian Cardinal, full mid-level for 6 years, like out of spite. Just now, there's your action. You want action? I'll give you action. They say it didn't go down like that, but I was like, I like to believe like that Jerry West.
I want to believe.
I thought you were going to say the Donald Sterling Jerry West story. That one I believe 100% true.
I just love talking. I wish I could recapture the way he described Harrison Barnes. I'm not doing it justice because he could see guys. I wrote it in the book, but I'm talking about how the way he could break guys down and talk about their movements. There was just this. There was this facility he had of not just noticing who's good, but being able to talk about it. And he was a basketball junkie, man. Even at that age with the Warriors, he was watching League Pass every night and had opinions on everything. And that guy was a lifer, man. He
and a modern.
And you know why? Do you know why this is one of my favorite Ethan stories? Because Ethan told us he went into it thinking like, Jesus Christ, all this Jerry West, the guy's like 90 years old. How freaking sharp could he be at basketball? Yeah. And what I respect is Ethan was like, he changed my mind.
Yeah.
He changed my mind. This dude
That's Jerry West, man. He was sharp. He, at that age, he was sharp, man.
And
you
modern.
Could feel it.
Yeah. Modern with his thinking. Like, that wasn't a guy who was stuck in, well, this is how we played back in the day. He was like, his opinions were evolved.
Yeah. He knew how to move with it, which a lot of people don't. I mean, 99% of people don't. I don't know what allowed him to be that guy. Maybe because he just insisted on remaining engaged in the material and watching League Pass. But there's a lot there. I mean, I don't want to go into some of the negative, but the way the Lakers are handling this, really weird, man. I mean, that's hard to not notice. I don't know if you guys are following the relative dearth of statement.
Tom talked about it. It took him like an hour and a half after the announcement to come out with a very milquetoast statement about not only one of their greatest players in the history of their franchise, but also the greatest executive in the history of the sport.
Yeah. I mean, does any of it exist without him? Does any of it in the way that we care about it exist? I don't know. And that's the strange thing about these organizations and sometimes the people who built them up, like the relationship between Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. It should not be that frosty. Mm-hmm. The Lakers took Jerry West tickets away from him. It's just very weird. And I hope some of the reactions can maybe inspire something better from them and a way to honor him. But I just think it's very unfortunate that it didn't happen. It just didn't happen while he was alive. But I think that's also part of the story, and it's this uncomfortable aspect to the whole thing that is hard not to notice right now.
Ethan, do you think that will come off forced and hollow, though? Do you think the moment's passed for the Lakers, or can they redeem the celebration of his life?
But I would rather they force it.
Yeah, that's still respect.
Just be cold and removed from the death of Jerry West just seems crazy to me. Because
initially I saw people criticizing how did the Clippers know? I was like, well, he's a part of the Clippers organization. It makes sense that they would know and they would announce this, right? But an hour and a half. You said
this is the sad part. Either you want to hear I talk about our game getting older, our legends are dying. Mm-hmm. But at this point, if you have great players that play for your organization, the obit has to already be written. It's ready to go the moment the news is confirmed.
86, bro.
Dog, it's not like, oh shit, hold on, let me wait.
That's not
great guy. Okay. Great to the strong. Why are we trying to write this?
Well, because the problem is this, because I don't want to make this a competition like it gets on social media of
Sad Olympics.
I mean, you always reference the Blazing Saddles. I didn't hear a harumph out of you, right? The problem in this case is we know there's tension there, and we know there's bitterness there. If we didn't know it, then it would be, I don't know, man, you should have maybe put out a statement, but we know that they took his tickets. We know that they forced his kid out of the organization. So I think to tie my story and, to what's happening there, and it sounds wrong to do it because we're talking about the death of a legend. There is this thing of the Lakers are such a mess, and they're such a mess without him.
It's just a fact. It's a clown show over there. In your piece, you talked about the order of influence. The number 2 in the entire organization is Linda Rambis.
But that's been the case, right? Like that's been the case for a long time.
Yeah.
The number 2.
But also you remember the LeBron clip, right? First of all.
Oh, where he was
International Women's Day.
Yep.
We sat down between Linda and Jeannie. Them being a mess, that aside, I don't know that should prevent them from handling the passing of Jerry West.
But I disagree.
But it's not them, it's Jeannie.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
entity.
Right. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm saying this is hard for me to wrap my head around because we're talking about Jerry
is making a great point right now.
Yeah.
I think
Woz is about to make the point.
If Jeannie were the CEO of some highly corporatized entity, she could get overruled, right?
Sure.
Like if she were just running it and there was a professionalized,
right?
If there was a professionalized overseeing entity, it'd be like, we get it that you have a problem, but just like professionally, image wise, as far as like protecting our brand, we have to carry this a certain way. Yeah, but because that is not and that's why I say for better or for worse, I don't like the fact that the NBA is ran by a bunch of fucking quants and hedge fund guys and fucking.
Thought you were going to say Jews. Okay, thank God.
No.
Okay,
Whoa.
It's only half the owners. Anyway, you were saying.
But like private equity dudes and hedge fund dudes and all of these
bankers,
banker guys. Like, I don't think that's amazing for the NBA, but like having it be these mom and pop operations, here's where it can rear its ugly head. That's just the truth of the matter, bro.
It's personal. It's personal.
And you guys aren't wrong. I still and this is just me being naive on the point. I'm sure it's just like, even with that, even as cynical as it's still crazy to me that would get in the way of this.
You're right.
Right. It's hard. It's hard for me to accept that on any level because I look at Jerry West is just one of those guys. I just look at it as that's the ultimate reverence that should be there, right? For I don't want to again get into the sad Olympics and comparing or whatever, but it's as big a deal as Bill Russell passing, right? It's as big a deal as Bill Walton passing. It's one of the Mount Rushmore iconic figures of the NBA, and none of that other shit should matter other than that. So it's just hard for me to accept that, and I know I'm just being naive on it.
No, you're right. You're completely correct. It's insane that this personal grudge has seeped into how the organization handles things. And Woz is also correct that this is what happens when it's the last mom and pop shop in the NBA, is that you can have, and in theory, we should want that. We should want it to be a mom and pop shop. We should want it not to be sterile.
Have a more personal touch. Yeah.
I want it to be Amazon.
But in this case, the personal touch is like a vendetta, and it's ugly when a great man passes away and you still haven't forgiven him.
And the moral of the story, Zach, the Jews would have did it better. Come on.
Nah.
Is it possible?
Yeah, they would have. They'd business before the personal. Exactly. Exactly.
Is it possible?
Steve Ballmer knows what to do. Sorry.
Is it possible that
you think Joe Lacob wanted to say that we're going to retire Kevin Durant's number when he left? You think that's how he felt?
Joe Lacob is Jewish, by the way.
Is it possible that this is just a time zone thing? It happened
it did happen dumb early.
I mean, we got it in the newsletter because I just happened to wake up before my alarm this morning. And I looked at my phone and saw the notification, and I was like, I'll give you behind the scenes. I literally wrote for the section that got removed to fit in the newsletter. It was about Eric Corgi and what does he know about to predict the start of this? It was like an investigation on Eric Corgi, And like, that's one of the funny things. We're like, okay, we're going to take this Air Corgi section out and put the passage of Jerry West in, which is an amazing sentence, right? But like, I just happened to wake up early enough to see it. And so I wrote something real quick and we put it in the newsletter. But like, it was before 7 a.m. that we got the news.
I don't think there's bad blood, man. There is. Blood.
I'm not doubting that. But it is like just crazy early.
And its origins, to hear many people tell it, it's when she started dating Phil Jackson. And I mean, wild take from Jerry West. He thought maybe that wasn't the most professional thing to be doing. It's a crazy take that he had back then.
And
I don't know. How many rings did they get?
Controversial. I think Jeannie would be getting killed more in the media if she wasn't a woman. I think people, especially in our media cohort, are very extra sensitive to not being unfair to women. I think.
But at the time, at the time.
Yes. That's why we have House of Strauss, ladies and gentlemen, where these conversations can happen.
At the time, is this not the kind of thing that would go into media, honestly?
Well, she's a funny thing.
Yes, I don't know.
She's a funny thing. I think, in a way, though, Wallace, to what you're saying.
Like, she would be getting smoked. Dating the fucking coach, bro.
Yeah.
If a dude was doing that, a dude owner, that would be like topic number one of like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, when we talk about why James Dolan is a horrible owner, we just go, we just go, if he was dating the freaking head coach, bro, it'd be number one.
But she wasn't the owner at the time, right?
But she had a high level role in the team.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
By the way, I don't think that was just about, look, I don't know the love life of Phil Jackson, but a lot of people around that situation, and I think Jerry is included there, we're going, there's a little Machiavellian. This isn't just who you happen to fall for. There's a little bit
Jackson,
of.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm going to push back on that. That's not the Phil Jackson.
He hates power. He hates power.
He's just a lunch pail guy. He shows up, does his job coaching, and leaves for home.
Phil Jackson is not manipulative at all. He's never done anything like that.
He would never.
I'm going to completely reject that theory. I don't like that.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't, I shouldn't have said anything like that. But yeah, it's a crazy thing to do. And I think with her, there is this aspect to what you're saying, was where it almost seems like if you were to critique some of her failings, it almost sounds like stereotypical. But it's like some of her failings. It's like she is a flake, She is kind of.
She has empowered some strange people,
right? But so is every owner. So like, and I don't know. Like maybe this is an LA centric thing. I feel like I see a lot of criticism of her as an owner over the last 4 years.
In
maybe not
media or just amongst fans.
I like kind of both. I'm not saying it's the same level as James Dolan, but I also don't think she's the same level of owner as James Dolan. Like, I don't think that's a fair.
Nah, it's hard. James Dolan is that's a high bar.
Yeah, like I mean, come on, man. Like
that's a glass ceiling she can't break through.
Like, she might be more like Glenn Taylor in the biggest market than James Dolan, right? Like, there's levels to this.
At least she's cool. She's like a cool, good-looking person, and James Dolan is this. That's not New York glamour. I don't even want to be near that.
I guess
kind of
someone
thing.
hasn't been to a JD and the Straight Shot show where he is oozing sex appeal. So again, I'll push back on that. But no, but like, I mean, also like, look, we can credit whoever we want to credit here. Won a title 4 years ago. Right? Like, I mean, it's not like she's not incompetent. Like,
is it though? Like, is it a title?
It's a title.
It's a doesn't count as a title.
Is it?
No, they won a not a real title this year with the in-season tournament. Okay, so
that's a real title. Hold on, that's real marketing right there.
That's the NBA Cup, sir.
Yeah, that's the NBA Cup. Thank you very much. Sponsored by somebody. I think I like. Look, she's had plenty of missteps as the leader of that organization, but they also like you got to give her some credit for the good stuff too.
Sure,
right? Like I don't think it's fair to lump in all this stuff of like I get like I'm not saying you're wrong in the sense of like she's probably not criticized the same way other owners are, But also,
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, what? She was scouting Austin Reeves. I mean, how are they so broke?
If you empower,
you own the Lakers. How are they so broke?
Well,
I'm not trying to crush. I'm not trying to crush her. I'm just saying. I look at it as LeBron. I look at it as he came in, gave them a structure. They were flailing, and how much of that was about her recruiting him? I feel like he recruited them to him and took over the operation.
You can get in the way, right? You can get in the way of that recruiting, like James Dolan, for example. Like you can get in the way of that. I think that when you hire certain people, like, look, we can make fun of Magic Johnson, all that stuff. Like, she put the right people in place to bring LeBron in. And maybe some of that is just like, you live in LA and Hollywood's in LA, whatever. Like, you've screwed that up before. They screwed it up with like LaMarcus Aldridge. They screwed it up, right? Like, you created an environment. Yes. But you created an environment of like, if you put the people in place that bring in the successful people that scout Austin Reeves and scout, like, you have the scouting department that does a good job of this stuff. Jalen Hood-Schifino aside, like you can, like, I think you should get some credit for that. If, like, you can't just get the negativity when things go wrong and not get the credit when things go right. It doesn't mean you have to be a meddlesome owner, but if you put the right people in place, you should get credit for that.
Rob Lowe as GM, I think is unforgivable. I really do.
Won a championship, according to some.
Not according to Watson.
Not according to me either, but according to some. I mean, I do want to fixate on the business aspect. We talk about being born on third base. How are they so broke? What are they doing with their money? This just gets talked about all the time, where it's just, hey,
what do you mean they're
the
broke?
the other owners, they got all sorts of money, but the Lakers, they're a mom and pop shop. They really got to reach into the couch cushions.
I mean, it's 8 of them, Ethan, dividing this pie equally.
They've got one of the most valuable sports franchises in the world. You can't
like sold it yet. That's not real money until you sell it, right?
But I'm saying, like, you've had it for all these years. You couldn't have funded a few startups that hit. I mean,
look at the tennis team.
Ethan is like, bro, I live in the Bay.
Okay,
but there's like a million people that could have made that work way better for themselves.
But also, like, look at the Bulls, right? They're notoriously cheap. Reinsdorf, like, they broke up the dynasty because they were cheap, right? Like, just because you have a successful team doesn't necessarily mean like you have cash in hand.
Yeah, but Reinsdorf's got money, man.
Yeah, he does. He's actually rich.
Yeah, he's got billions.
I don't see Genie taking Ubers everywhere. Like, I don't,
no. But when you don't pay Ty Lue what he's worth, basically because it literally, like, the way they look at it is literally the more we pay Ty Lue, the less we have to split amongst ourselves. That's the calculation made.
I don't think that's broke, though. That's just like, we're not paying for that.
I mean,
we got Ty Lue at home. Like, we could hire Frank Vogel and win a maybe title. Like, I
don't know, man.
There's no salary cap on coaches.
I think they operate as if they're the Memphis Grizzlies, bro. When it comes to paying executives, when it comes to paying people that aren't players, they do.
They've got the most lucrative team in the NBA. And yeah, I do look at this from the Bay Area perspective, where I'm in contact sometimes with rich people, and this is how the people with money make money. They get Marcus in on Thompson. the seed rounds, and Marcus, yes, from all those books. They get to sort of jump the line.
Character in the title of the book, and so he's just rolling in money.
Golden. They get to jump the line and invest in all these companies. And I'm not saying that it's so easy. I don't know what it's like to have millions of dollars, but in theory, if you run the Lakers and you have had this for decades, you should be able to parlay something into something. I mean, it's strange to me that they just, hey, 6th most money for you to ply you away from UConn. What's going on? There's no salary cap for coaches. Where's the money going?
I just don't think that was a real thing in the first place.
What is Linda spending it on? What is Linda doing with the money?
Hold on. This could be Kurt spending the money. Let's not be sexist here,
okay? Could be Kurt on those goggles.
Look, as someone who watched him coach, I do not trust his judgment with fucking anything. But, like, all right, let me ask a question here, okay? This is a genuine question. Why is it that Reinsdorf has money but is frugal. Like he's not spending
Jewish.
Crazy money. No. There it is. But the Lakers are broke because they don't spend money.
Because we know that Reinsdorf is like we know he's like actually rich outside of the revenues of the White Sox, the Blackhawks.
The buses aren't.
It doesn't seem like
not
it.
In comparison. No, but like hold on. But this is the thing, Zach. But this is the thing. When it's 8 people or 7 people, however many kids Dr. Bus has, it's different when they're collectively making that decision about money, because individually you can't compare them to Reinsdorf.
But you're talking about her and the Lakers like Glenn Taylor talks about Mark Lowry and A-Rod. Like this, like it's.
Hey,
but that's
all
how
I know
they
is
operate.
Reinsdorf's got trace commas is all I know, and that's not the case of Bus.
I just rewatched Silicon Valley.
So good.
God, it's so good. It's even better the more you rewatch it.
And again, and my thing is like, because the Knicks and Lakers are the 2 richest teams in the league in terms of the money that they generate as teams. Mm-hmm. And of course, James Dolan, like the Cablevision shit, like that has to count. Like the guy's freaking richer than God. It's ridiculous. But like, they overpaid Larry Brown. They overpaid Phil Jackson. They overpaid Mike D'Antoni. They overpaid Derek Fisher. They will overpay whoever the fuck it is because that's the person that they absolutely need to have at that time. They just overpay these motherfuckers every time because that's how I thought that's how you're supposed to operate when you are the money printing operation of the NBA. The Lakers do the opposite. They hem, they haul, they get fucking Frank Vogel. They get Darvin Ham in there. What if
it's part of look, now I'm just playing devil's advocate, but like, what if it's part of like, we're the fucking Lakers. Why do we have to overpay? Come coach us.
I think there's an element of that.
Yeah.
I think there's an aspect of it. You know,
I think that's part of it. And I think that's part of why they always get Laker people. Yeah. Because it's like this Lakers exceptionalism type of thing. Like, I think that is definitely part of it. But the other part of it is just like, we'll make do with Frank Vogel.
And they did.
Until they did a year, 2 years after.
Injuries.
I mean, it just says everything about what a bad job it is that Vogel won a championship, according to some, and his reputation for having gone through the whole Laker experience has only suffered. Everybody comes out dirty on the other side of that Laker experience.
I will admit that depending on who I'm talking to influences how real I take that championship.
Yeah. Well,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're in LA.
If I need to win an argument, then it's
the thing to me about the bubble is like, if your team actually would have won that championship, nobody's like, oh, we didn't actually win the championship. That's no actual fan base of a team would take that tack. That's how I know it's like the selective, like Zach is saying, it depends on how I feel that day.
Yeah.
If I feel like giving it credit.
Yes.
There's a lot of flex in that. You can use it if you need to.
The Clippers talking about, we wanted to get home and all of that, as if NBA players like being home with their family.
In lockdown.
Give me a break.
I mean, it's just too many crazy things are going on. Look, it is technically a championship. You have the banner, but there was no parade. I mean, it's a crazy thing. It was a crazy time.
Fauci.
Yeah, you specifically banned the Laker parade. So he's being interrogated about.
Ruined everything.
Yeah, there was no parade, no games on the road. No, I mean, at a certain point, something is too different to be considered the same thing. In the record books, it will go down as what it is. But I just know how I feel about it, and I don't feel that's a real championship. And I don't feel like Anthony Davis shoots like that unless it's an open gym and nobody's there.
That's historically, that's accurate, yes. But also, 40 years from now, when we're in the water wars, we'll just look back in the history books and say, they won a title in 2020.
Championship.
That was the bubble year.
No. we won't have enough water to remember what bubbles are at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody go read Ethan's article about the Lakers mess and the ESPN controversy. and listen to that podcast he did with Amin for sure.
And then go read the aggregation of Amin's comments.
Yes, please
read that first. Let's be real.
Read that. Start there. Read that. But work your way backwards. Read that, and then peruse the article.
You realize how crazy it is? The aggregator jumped beyond the paywall to do that. That's a new one for me. The paywall is supposed to be safe.
The Amin joint was paywalled?
That was paywalled.
Wow.
You don't give that for free? You kidding me?
Oh, I put out a YouTube clip. That's what they got.
YouTube clip, dude.
Oh yeah, it's my fault.
Sorry, Awful Announcing is not a subscriber to the house.
Now who's
I love how late. I love how cheap. The aggregators are Laker level cheap. You put it beyond the paywall, and it's like I can't go there.
Nope.
I'm not going to find. We could be talking about just crazy things like the best players all having an orgy together, and the aggregator is going to go.
Well, there's my clip.
What was the
$12 is too much?
Somebody else gonna have to run that one down. Let me know how it goes, and then I'll aggregate that aggregation. But I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's not how this. I mean, we're really trying to make money here. We can't be spending like that. No, it's funny. Well, it's good. It means that when I have people on and we want to say crazy stuff, paywall right now seems to get the job done. So
still safe.
Good. Still safe.
Bracket, July 20th, New York City.
See ya.
Get your tickets. CountTheDings.com.